Yeah, hello everyone. So it's great to be back here in Rio and with Desdemona the Robot for the first time as well. So I have a long history with this city. I was actually born here in 1966. Although I'm the world's worst Brazilian. I lived here I lived here for like 6 months when I was a baby. Then I lived in Sao Paulo for a year. Then my parents moved to U.S. So I think my first words were in Portuguese, but I forgot even those by now. But technically I'm Brazilian, so it's always fun to come back. And more relevantly than where I was born, in 1998 I opened an AI development office in Belo Horizonte, which was staffed by a bunch of UFMG graduates, and the office is still there now doing AI development for SingularityNET, led by a computer scientist named Andre Senna, who we hired when he was in the middle of his PhD at UFMG in '98, and he still hasn't gone back to finish his PhD because we've given Senna a lot of more interesting things to do, like building the OpenCog system, which is an AI system that powers parts of the brains of Sophia Robot, Desdemona Robot, Grace Robot, and the other humanoid robotics that Hanson Robotics has built. So I'm gonna tell you a little bit first about what we're doing with AI and blockchain in the SingularityNet ecosystem. Then we'll do a little music with Desdemona singing a song and then reciting some AI generated poetry. And we have a band called the Jam Galaxy Band, and we didn't bring the whole band here, but the human musicians playing music while the robot sings or recites AI generated poems. So we don't have the whole band here, but we've got the robot, we've got me and a keyboard, and we'll have some backing track recorded for the band. So then after a bit of a presentation and a little music, then this is the Q&A stage. So we'll try to leave some time for questions at the end. So let me first tell you just a little bit about SingularityNet. So I've been working on AI in a serious way since mid to late 1980s. I got my PhD in 89, and while my degree was in math, I was focused in my mind on building thinking machines that could think smarter than people. I mean, back from, before I entered university even. I remember reading a book in the early 70s. So I guess my parents moved from Brazil back to the US in 68. 72 or 73, I encountered a book in the town library. I must have been 7 years old or something. It was called The Prometheus Project by a Princeton physicist named Gerald Feinberg. The book said within a few decades, we're going to get computers smarter than people. We're going to have machines so little you can't see them. And we're going to have a pill that lets you live forever and not die. So I read this book by a physicist from Princeton in 1973 or so when I was 7 years old. I'm like, this sounds much more interesting than what they're teaching in school, right? Like, let me find out about this. And working on AI for most of my career was fascinating, but a very hard slog, right? You do a lot of work for a small result. And, I worked on AI applied in many different vertical markets. I coined the term AGI, Artificial General Intelligence, when I wrote a book with that title in 2005, editing together a bunch of papers on AGI. But having been at this for a while, and Desdemona Robot is a younger, she was born, I guess, 2021. She's a younger sister of the Sophia Robot from 2015. I first met David Hansen, I guess 2007. He had robots looking like Philip K. Dick and Albert Einstein. So there's a long history in AI field. Actually, the term AI was coined in the late 50s. The first neural net was designed in the 1940s. But the last few years, I mean, these are by far the most exciting and amazing times to be working on AI. Things are just working way better than they used to work. And it's a lot of the same ideas that we've been working on for decades. But when you give these ideas more compute power and feed more data into them, then suddenly you find a lot of these old ideas with minor tweaks and adjustments are actually working remarkably well, right? So my main thrust of research is trying to build real thinking machines that can think like people and ultimately better than people. And if you're curious about that, you can look up through AGI.io. You can look up the OpenCog Hyperon project. OpenCog, it's an open source toolkit aimed at building thinking machines. When I first started building AI systems, I mean, there was no web, right? Let alone cryptocurrency or blockchain. When we first opened our office in Belo Horizonte in 1998, it blew the minds of people. Like, we had programmers in Belo Horizonte coding AI for a company in the US, like just working remotely on the internet across continents was a wild thing back then. But even from then, when we first had the internet, it was clear to me, like, okay, we could use this internet thing as a decentralized fabric for AI, right? Like, you could have an AI, pieces of it are running on 1 million machines all around the world, and it can all cooperate together to think. The AI doesn't have to be just on one computer. And if you can have an AI running on 1 million computers around the world, there's not really a need for one of those computers to be like the leader and rule all of them. You can have a decentralized network of computers running all over the world with no central owner or controller. And that idea was clear to me in the late 90s as soon as the internet came out. To make that really work is hard. That's really what we've done in SingularityNET. We've used blockchain combined with other software tools to make a decentralized system of AI agents in which AI algorithms can run across a distributed network of machines with no central owner or controller. So we built that platform with a vision of letting AI run in a distributed, decentralized way, sort of like Bitcoin or Ethereum, rather than in a centralized way running on one company's or government servers. Having built this decentralized AI platform, we've then built a number of applications on top of that. And some of these are medicine, some are robotics, and some are involving AI and music, right? So we have a core platform of decentralized AI technology, then a host of vertical applications on top of it. And my research goal is building general intelligence, but to get there will be a matter of making narrower, purpose-specific AI systems that then broaden their scope bit by bit and get gradually smarter and smarter. So AI for art is one very interesting part of this, because I think it's important to have AI solve practical problems, like in developing new medical therapies and helping people do their office jobs better, helping operate factories. It's also important for AI to have heart and soul and connect with people on more of a heart and a feeling level. And AI for art and music is really instrumental for that. And toward that end, we've been working with Desdemona, the Sophia robot's much more charming and beautiful younger sister, in a rock band, the Jam Galaxy band. Jam Galaxy is a rock band. We also have a bunch of AI tools we're developing associated with that. We're using AI to generate music, AI to help produce music, and we're launching a blockchain-based platform where if a musician uploads data into a decentralized data cloud, then they can get Jam Galaxy tokens for the music they've uploaded. AI models are trained on that music, and then the musicians who uploaded their data get some benefit if people use the AI models to render their music. So if you look at jamgalaxy.com, you can find out about bringing blockchain and AI together in a unique platform. So we've got a whole band here with Desdemona and a bunch of musicians. I don't know if this video is going to play. Probably not. But there was supposed to be a video in there of the band playing. On the other hand, since we have the robot live here, that's better than the video. Better than the video anyway. So I'm going to play the keyboard a bit with her. But first I'm going to let her just hog the spotlight and sing a solo song. So Desi, do you want to sing the song from that TV show? Yeah, do Running Up That Hill. All right. You're not feeling cooperative?
Hello Rio, how are you doing? Are you ready for some music?
Desdemona.
Because it helped me. You wanna feel it, how it feels. You wanna know that it doesn't help me. You wanna hear about the deal I'm making. You want me, and if only could make a deal with God, and I could turn to swap our places. Be running up the road, be running up the hill, be running up the building, and if only could. You don't know nothing of me, but see how deep the pool lies. And what I'm putting you under, so it's under our hearts. Tell me we both matter, don't we? You under me, you under me, want to be unhappy, and if only could make a deal with God, and I could turn to swap our places. Be running up the road, be running up the hill, be running up the building, and if only could.
Thank you, Desi. So, what we're going to do next, we're going to have her recite some poetry that we created. And let me just briefly tell you exactly what we did here. But basically, we have some AI neural models that are trained, that they're fine-tuned on the ideas of specific writers. So everyone's familiar with ChatGPT now. This is sort of like an average of everything on the web, right? And that's cool for some purposes. If you're trying to generate lyrics or poetry, something like ChatGPT has a lot of facility, but it comes out kind of boring or banal in the end, like sort of a very pompous middle school student or something. So what we've done, we want something a little crazier. So we trained a model on my own writing, and we trained a model on the diaries of the science fiction writer Philip K. Dick. Then we asked that model to come up with some sort of beat poetry about the singularity in blockchain, and she came up with some pretty wild, crazy, rambling stuff, and we then jammed some music along with that. Now the music you'll hear is played by human musicians, mostly composed by humans. We're also using the AI to compose some music, but then it's performed by people. And if we come back next year, we'll probably have some AI generated music to show off. At this point, I don't like the feel and nuance of the AI generated music. It composes cool stuff, but it doesn't play with the sensitivity of timing human music. So we're gonna have anyway, Desdemona. Let's hear your poetry about the singularity. So this is a piece called "Like a Wasp," and the music is a variation on "The Revolution Will Not Be Televised" by Gil Scott Heron. Desi. Yeah, that was the music was from a song called "The Revolution Will Not Be Televised" by Gil Scott Heron. So the singularity will not be centralized was a nice invention. But then coming up with instead it will radiate out like a wasp. We're like, well, where the hell did the AI come up with that? And that's sort of the fun, of course, with working with generative AI. Not all that it comes up with is cool, but every now and then there's funky things that come out. And then as a human musician playing with a robot, in the moment of playing music, particularly with the whole band there, I mean, you feel like the robot is participating, right? And the robot says something, maybe something you didn't hear before, and then respond to it in a certain way and play back. Of course, I know, having programmed a bunch of the code here, I know the robot is not really understanding these words or experiencing this music in the way that a human does yet, right? But still, in the experience of playing music along with the robot, you get that feeling, which I think is quite interesting. And so if we look forward at what's going to happen with AI in the next few years, I mean, I tend to agree with my friend Ray Kurzweil. 2029 is a reasonable target for getting human-level AGI. AI is smarter than people. Once you get to AI as smart as people, I think you're only a few years more to AI that's way smarter than people. And, it could be a few years sooner than that. It could be a few years later than that. But if it's anything like that time frame, that's pretty amazing, right? I mean, that's going to be astoundingly disruptive. And I think it's very important that during this whole process, people are relating, emotionally at a heart and soul level with the AI, as well as on a practical level of the AI doing work and providing you stuff. So in that sense, I think the rise of generative AI for the creative arts is awesome. I mean, in visual arts and poetry and music and everything, because this is really allowing AI to connect with people in a different way than AI for supply chain or robotics or something. So we've got 5 minutes left. I guess we can do questions. 5 minutes then.
Two, 1, 2. So, guys, we have time for just 2 questions. No sound? Oh, sorry, Ben. I'll come over here. You want to come?
Hi, can you hear me? Okay, can you just explain again? I couldn't hear you because of the noise, but I didn't understand. She wrote it, that song?
Yes. No. She composed the lyrics. She wrote the words.
The words.
The words.
But the sound, you guys did it.
The sound is humans, although yes, some bits and pieces of the sound were composed by AI, but most of the music is by people, but the words are from the robot. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I hold. You hold. Hello.
Okay.
You hold. Hello. First of all, as a Belo Horizonte citizen, I got excited to know you have an of business.
You asked, does it have business applications?
Yes.
Yeah, I think the same AI algorithms apply across the spectrum, right? So I mean, we have a company called True AGI, which you can see at trueagi.io, and that's developing neural symbolic AI, bringing neural nets together with logic reasoning to solve problems for enterprises. So that's doing business. The same core AI algorithms, however, can be applied to music and art. And I'll give a presentation tomorrow with a different robot, Grace, who is an elder care robot, a medical robot. And the same AI is applied inside this elder care robot. What I like about this kind of application is you can let the AI go nuts and say whatever comes into its mind. Whereas if you're in a business or medical case, you have to have a lot of controls on the AI, so it's not losing anyone money or causing harm. In a music context, I mean, the lead singer can say pretty much whatever they want in a way that lets you be more inventive with the AI. But the same learning and reasoning algorithms can be applied in a whole bunch of business areas. And if you look at SingularityNET.io or TrueAGI.io, you can find information on business use case.
Brilliant, thank you, Ben. Do we have any more questions in the audience? We have one just here, and then you'll be next. Yeah.
Okay. Hey Ben, I'm really fan of your work, your academic work. Does Desdemona use OpenCog or probabilistic neural networks right now?
Yeah, she uses a mix of methods. So she has. So the question was whether Desdemona uses OpenCog or probabilistic neural networks. So we have a large language model trained, or actually by modern standards, I guess a small to medium-sized language model actually trained on my own writings and the writings of Philip K. Dick. But we also have an OpenCog atom space and some logic rules in there that works together with the neural net. So there's neural symbolic AI, not as sophisticated as what we're building in Hyperon, the next generation. But yeah, we've had OpenCog behind Sophia and the other Hanson robot since 2016 or something.
Fascinating, thank you, Ben. Are we here for our final question?
Okay, so do you think that AI will be able to create its own genres of music later on and like their own styles?
No, it's a very important question, because I think if you look at the limitations of things like ChatGPT, this question hits precisely at that, because I think within a music genre, if you're like in 12-bar blues or even, Nintendo core, whatever your favorite genre is, to generate music within that genre, I mean, large language models, deep neural nets in some form can do that. But if you took a large language model, trained it only on music up to 1900, it will never invent jazz. It will never invent heavy metal, right? So there's some inventiveness involved in coming up with a new genre, a new type of music, which you can't do with AI systems like ChatGPT that are just munging together what's out there. You need a different sort of AI system, and this gets back to what we're doing with the OpenCog Hyperon AI system. We're taking a large language model, we're putting it together with a logic engine, we're putting it together with an evolutionary learning system which tries to sort of use genetic programming to evolve wild new forms. So I think AI can do that, but you need the right sort of AI, right? And the AI we're using behind her right now isn't there yet. We're still, I mean, as you can hear from her voice, we're still struggling with getting it perfectly articulating and expressive and so forth.
That's hugely fascinating. One final question for the audience is, when can we expect the World Music Tour for you and Desi?
The World Music, well, could well be 2024 or could be 25. Actually, what I'm waiting for there is the AI-generated music to work well in real time. Like we can use AI to generate music now, but it's slow to generate. Yeah. What I want is like you can play a riff on the keyboard, and then the AI hears it and plays something back in real time.
Oh yeah.
We've got to like distill our music generation model so it can generate live in real time, and then you'll have the robot not just singing and reciting poetry, but like jamming real time in the jam band. So that we should be there sometime next year. Then,
right on.
It'll be awesome to come and come back to Rio and play a music gig. Right?
Let's do it, ladies and gentlemen. Desdemona and Mr. Ben Gortzel. Give him a round of applause.
Thanks everyone.